course, God can't do things that are logically impossible, but
I hear both religious people and atheists and everyone in between assert this often. And I actually made a video about this a while ago. I can't remember if it's still up or if it's one of the ones I deleted a while ago. But I have this uh, paper here that I just jotted down that to guide me through my thought process on this. So, if God is the creator of the universe, then there's nothing that is behind him that is forcing him to create the universe in any specific way. He's not being dictated by logic because he has not created logic yet. He decides what logic will be. He decides what is permissible. He will decide what is possible. And so he is unaffected by logic because logic comes from him. He decides what logic will be. And let's say let's go back before he created logic. I have no idea what that would be like, but he hasn't created it yet. So at that point in time, logic could potentially be anything he wanted it to be. He could have made square circles, anything illogical, he could have made it so it's completely possible. As absurd as it may sound, and it does, it sounds completely, and it should sound completely absurd. Because if it didn't sound absurd to us, then that wouldn't be a different universe. It would have to be something we cannot even imagine, because we don't live in that universe where that is the case, where such impossibilities are possible. We live in a universe where what is possible for us is what's possible. What's logical is what's logical for us. We don't live in a universe where it makes sense to see square circles and for the most powerful being that exists that can do anything can also make, at the same time, make a rock that he cannot lift. Yet, so it'll like break your brain to try to make sense of this type of thing. And it should. But yet I still hold that God would have this power if God is the creator of everything, which that's the whole kind of the premise of religions, Abrahamic religions, anyways. So the one and only thing that could not be possible in a universe where all of these contradictory things are permissible is God cannot both exist and not exist at the same time. He either exists or he doesn't. We either live in a universe where there's a God or we do not. So it may have occurred to you that we right now could be living in a version of creation where God made some things permissible that are actually illogical. Just because he didn't make if God exists, just because he didn't make this, and this permissible, these illogical things permissible, like no square circles and whatever else you can think of, just because those aren't the illogical things that are possible doesn't mean there are not some things that are permissible that are illogical and contradictory and things like that. So this brings us to a conundrum. Like, well, if that's the case, then we don't know what's what. Because it could be if God says, well, actually, it's good that I sent these people to do this to these people, and I say it's good, so it's good. If He decided that that's logical, then those are rules of logic. You might not like it, but that's what's it would be in this scenario. It would be logical, and it would be sound. It would be perfectly logical. If it's completely bizarre. But so the question comes down to, do we live in a universe with or without God? And I'm agnostic. I don't know. So, I don't know, just something to think about. If this is something that interests you, let me know. If this is something I should talk more about, I feel like I've actually pretty much covered the key parts of this here. Just the idea that God could say, well, I'm going to command you to do this horrible thing, but actually, because I'm telling you to do it, it's good. And I've decided what logic is. You might not be aware of what logic actually is, but I created it, and so I know what logic actually is, and this is completely logical. It's completely sound. I'm not contradicting myself. You think I'm contradicting me, because you have your ideas of what logic is and all that, but actually you're completely wrong, because I'm the one who designed logic, and I decide what is logical. So, yeah. So I'm agnostic, but I'm saying if God is the creator of the universe, then He decides what is and what is not logical. So your ideas of what is and is not logical do not apply, honestly. It sounds, oh, so you're justifying what God has done in the Bible and all that. No, I'm saying that if there is a God, and then everything he would be completely justified in doing whatever he wants, anything he wants. He says, this is logical. This is actually permissible. Then this makes sense in my universe, because I'm the one who decides what makes sense. So a square circle, that makes sense. I'll have that. It's possible. It's good. And at the same time, it's bad. And it's nonsense to you and I, because in our from our perspective, we have this view of logic that it makes it impossible to see any other way that things could be. Just like we can't even, you can't imagine, if you can see, you can't visualize what it's like to be a blind person, things like that. So you could say, well, all this, the morality of all this is subjective. In your opinion, you might think it's subjective, but if God exists, then He decides whether it's objective or subjective or not. He would write all the rules. All the rules would be up to Him. What is and what is not this or that. So this idea that God couldn't do anything that's illogical, I don't know where people get this idea. If He's the creator of the universe, then He created everything. not just he didn't. If logic dictated God, that would make logic God, not God God. Uh, but if God was the very beginning, was always there, was the thing that everything comes from, then logic then logic had to have come from him. If the biblical God is real, if you know, if what the Bible says and what most Abrahamic religious people believe is true, then yeah, God decided what logic is. So, anyways, yeah, let me know what you think about all of this. And again, I'm agnostic. I don't know. It's These are the types of thoughts that go around in my head. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching.